Have you ever heard your name being called when no one was there? You might turn around, expecting someone, but still, no one is there. Now imagine that happening constantly, and not just your name, but full voices speaking to you. That's what auditory hallucinations can feel like for people with schizophrenia. In this presentation, I'm going to explain the biological basis of auditory hallucinations, focusing on brain structure, brain communication, and brain chemistry. Auditory hallucinations are when someone hears voices or sounds that aren't actually present. These voices can feel completely real, as if they are coming from outside the body. One key explanation is a failure in reality monitoring, the brain's ability to distinguish between internal thoughts and external sounds. In schizophrenia, the system can break down. Instead of recognizing a thought as internal, the brain mislabels it as coming from the outside world. This is why hallucinations aren't just imagined, but they are experienced as real. To study this, researchers used MRI brain scans along with reality monitoring tasks. Participants were shown words and either asked to imagine hearing them or actually listen to them. Later, they had to decide whether each word was imagined or heard. At the same time, MRI scans measured brain structure, including gray matter, in specific brain regions. This allowed researchers to directly connect behavior, like making mistakes, with biological differences in the brain. One key finding involved a brain structure called the paracingulate sulcus, or PCS, located in the prefrontal cortex. People with a shorter PCS showed worse reality monitoring accuracy and were more likely to confuse imagined words with real ones. The study also found reduced gray matter in the temporal and parietal lobes, which are involved in processing sound and language. These structural differences suggest that hallucinations are linked to physical changes in the brain, especially in areas that process and interpret sound. These brain regions work together as part of a network. The prefrontal cortex helps evaluate whether something is real, while temporoparietal regions process sensory information like sound. When miscommunication between these areas is disrupted, the brain may fail to correctly label internal thoughts. As a result, inner speech can be experienced as an external voice. This is known as an externalization bias, where internal experiences are misattributed to outside sources. At the neurochemical level, dopamine plays an important role. Dopamine helps the brain assign importance to thoughts and experiences. In schizophrenia, dopamine activity is often too high or unbalanced. This can cause internal thoughts to feel more intense and meaningful than they should. Because of this, the brain may interpret these thoughts as real external voices instead of normal internal speech. At the cellular level, these differences involve neurons and gray matter. Gray matter contains neuron cell bodies that process information. This study found reduced gray matter in people with stronger hallucinations. This suggests fewer or less efficient neural connections in key areas. When these cells don't function properly, the brain becomes less accurate at processing and labeling information, increasing the likelihood of hallucinations. Another important factor is cognitive insight, or the ability to reflect on and question one's own thoughts. Research shows that people with higher self-reflectiveness tend to have a better quality of life. Even if hallucinations still occur, being able to recognize they might not be real can make them less distressing and easier to manage. This connects the biology of hallucinations to the real-world outcomes like relationships and daily functioning. Research also shows that these brain systems can be changed. Studies by Manondo and colleagues used non-invasive brain stimulation to target areas involved in hallucinations. They found that stimulating these regions reduced hallucinations and improved reality monitoring. This shows that hallucinations are linked to brain systems that can be adjusted, offering hope for treatment. In conclusion, auditory hallucinations are the result of multiple biological processes working together. Differences in brain structure, disrupted communication between brain regions, and chemical imbalances all contribute to these experiences. By understanding these levels, from neurons to brain networks, we can better understand and treat hallucinations. Most importantly, this research shows that these experiences are rooted in real brain processes, helping reduce stigma and improve care.